future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
This. Hi, welcome back to Plus This. I'm Kathy Deach.
And I am Eva Tingley, and we're so excited to be with you again today.
Completely excited. We have a bit of a switch up today. As you know, we were off the air for quite a while and have a new home at UBN, which we love. Yay! But we did do an on-site, like on-location interview. Shoot.
Yeah. It was really fun.
It was an amazing day, and I feel like it's maybe some of the best interviewing we've ever done. Not to give us
not
props.
to toot our own horns. Me.
I mean, it helped that we loved our guests so much, and it's casting director Felicia Fasano and agent Dana Sims. And
yeah, and it's a really fun interview, and we're going to be playing that for you later today.
Yes, and
later today, meaning
today.
In a couple of hours, we're going to play that for you. Don't worry about it, guys. Later in the show, we're going to play that for you. So it's a bit of a structured show to this week, right?
Yes, but they're really close friends in real life, and they're friends with Melissa Masse, whose store we were at. We talked about her a little bit last week. So you'll get to see some of the store, which is really fun. And we were going to save Melissa's interview for like another week.
Yeah, we have a little teaser for you guys. Another week about Melissa Masse.
Yeah, why not? In the meantime, Chrissy was such a fantastic guest last week, don't you agree?
I mean,
Chrissy Metz was on our show, in case you guys, for some reason
you missed it, you
Golden
crazy
Globe
kooks.
Nominated Chrissy Metz on our show. That's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
We sang, we laughed, we cried. We
you
actually
gotta
didn't
go
cry.
back. No, we didn't cry.
We didn't cry.
But we laughed a lot.
A lot. She's really great. One of the things that stuck out that she said, and we both mentioned it later, was that her first love was singing.
Yeah.
And that she didn't get to do that. And there was a great Lizzo article. I don't know if you know who Lizzo is, guys. If you don't,
you need to,
please
because
get
she
on
is
board.
like killing it. She was in an interview in Vogue.
And she is just an amazing performer, amazing songstress.
So you guys can see her now, her beautiful face.
Yes, gorgeous.
If you don't know who she is, Google Lizzo.
Lizzo. She's amazing on Instagram and really, really funny on Twitter. She's great. But she said in that article, which I love, I don't really care about having a #1 album. I care about influence. I'd rather have 100,000 big girls dancing on the field at the Super Bowl.
I know.
Like,
so great.
what kind of an amazing human is she? So it kind of, and
it goes more about exposure and visibility for her than like being the next Beyonce.
Exactly. And she was like, why doesn't Beyonce have big girl dancers? Why
she was like, Beyonce can have my dancers.
Yeah, she's like, my dancers are fierce.
Yeah.
So
that started a conversation about like what has come up for you where someone said you can't do that because you're fat.
Yeah.
Or, oh, you know what? Like, maybe it's just not the best idea. Like, maybe you should, like, try to lose some weight before you go after that dream or go after that goal or whatever it is that you're looking to do. Like, first, try to lose weight.
Yeah. And that Chrissy thing really struck a chord with me. We thought that it was so important because we often we grieve about our thinner selves a lot. Like I do, at least when I was a 5-year-old and wasn't fat and was called fat all the time. Like I grieve for her. It's like the first time I ever remember hating my body was 5, and that's who I grieve for. And it's almost like okay to grieve for your thinner self, of course.
Right, of course.
By society, is like, oh, do you get sad when you see pictures of yourself?
Yeah, like oh, are you looking at yourself just disappointed that you've just turned into such a monster?
Exactly.
You're such a
you let
giant
yourself
monster.
go now. You're so letting go of yourself, which is like a terrible term. Or is it? It should be an amazing, yes, I'm letting go. I'm like free from all burden. It should be. But like, oh, you
but
really
that's
let
not,
yourself,
it has
what
a
it means.
negative connotation, sure.
But instead, this idea of having to grieve for the person that we could have been, like grieving for the potential that we didn't get to follow through on because someone said, no, fat girls don't do that.
Yeah.
So we thought up a hashtag, and we would love for you to take part in that. Basically, it says, "I'm fat and they said no."
I'm fat and they said no. So that's the hashtag that we created for you guys to join in on the conversation, and we hope that you will. It's active on Facebook. It's active on Twitter. I guess it is also active on Instagram, but
we posted a picture of it.
But
and if you want the comments to be,
you know, obviously it's more of a story, not a picture. I mean, unless you have a picture, show us.
Yeah.
Show us what happened to you.
Yeah.
Because you have the story about when you were, you met with a producer.
Yeah, we've both had many.
Yes.
That's a lot. There's like a lot of tears for me in that conversation. When I was in, Europe, and then came back after touring Europe, by the way, probably like the thinnest I had been as a young adult, went to an audition with a record producer, a guy who ran a label, and we had this really great conversation after I sang, and he was all up into it. And then he said, okay, so there's a couple of things that are going to have to happen if we want to work with you. And he said, you're going to have to lose like 15, 20 pounds. And there's something in me that was like, you mean 40 or 50 pounds. And I honestly don't even, I sort of remember what he said after that, but I had so decided that my life was not going to be about chasing that idea for somebody. Like, if you're not here to talk to me about music and talk to me about my singing and talk to me about art, then how am I going to work with you if the first thing you say to me is, you can't be that heavy, even though your voice is fantastic?
Right.
And I've always, since I was a kid, I was obsessed with MTV and like wanted to be a rock star my entire life. So when Chrissy said that, like last week, it like really hit me. And I really get upset at all of the Adeles that could have been. Like, I could cry right now thinking about in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. You know, it's really amazing that Adele came along. There's one of her, you know, there's a couple other like Meghan Trainor, but she also has succumbed to like feeling like she had to change her body. I mean, she talked about it openly, and, you know, but there's a ton of artists. Like, where was there Aretha Franklin? Where was the Patti LaBelle? Where was...
Oh, no. I mean, in the 90s, there's not one overweight woman. I'm sorry. I don't mean to say overweight, because that implies that there's a correct weight, and that's not what we're doing here.
Right.
But there wasn't one bigger...
Yeah, Kelly Price is an R&B singer. At least not in like pop rock music.
Right. Not in pop.
Yeah.
Not in pop mainstream. Like, everybody knows who they are.
Yeah.
That isn't
very,
a
very
reality.
few and far between. And even Kelly Price is literally like one of the best singers of all time.
And I don't know who it is.
Exactly.
And that's like a shame.
I know. It's really, really tragic. So,
but I feel the same way. Like, when I was 14, I really, really, really wanted to be an actor. And it was like a real little secret that I had. And I had an English teacher who would bring in different people from different industries to like talk to us about their business and talk to us about like what it meant to be in that industry. And there was an agent who came and was like, if any of you guys want to be an actor, come meet with me and let's talk about it. So I set up a meeting, and my mom was there and my sister was there, and she was like, yeah, you're just a little too big boned. Mind you, I was by no means like a fat girl.
Right.
I mean, I was muscular. I was very athletic. I just didn't have that like Disney string bean body that a lot of kid actors have. You know, they have that little tiny body.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. I had like a normal healthy body, but it wasn't television. And she was like, yeah, you're just a little too big boned. Like, you need to get rid of that pudge around your belly. Mind you, it's like this. It was like this much pudge.
Right.
I mean, if even that she told me that I needed to get rid of. And so then that was like, that's it. I can't do it. I can't be an actor. And, you know, it took me many, 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 many years later to realized that I actually could do that.
Yeah, you could do what you had. Yeah, absolutely. And, even in relationships, like I just had gone through something with someone and it's ended now. So, of course, in the ending of it, I'm trying to find like the positive and like think of what I'm grateful for,
Sure.
right? And there's a lot of things.
And that's hard to do.
Totally
so I
hard
commend
to
you,
do.
and I know that
It's part of the work.
We've had conversations.
It's part of the work, Eva. It's part of the work. So
breaking up is hard to do.
So, it was pretty amicable, but really, when I'm really honest with myself, the biggest thing I got out of it was that this is the first relationship that I have felt free with my body and not feeling like I have to play some hide and seek game being physically intimate with someone. And that out and about, he was like totally loving and like
and was like seen with you.
And was seen with me, and it wasn't on the down low. And that was something that I thought no guy wanted to be with a big girl in public. I literally in my mind had that thought in my head. And I think it came right out of doing the show, that me like talking about it all the time, that kind of got me over it. And then I had this like amazing thing. And even though it's over, like it was amazing because it was the first time really. And like a lot of time, like in a lot of ways, like my first relationship, And it's crazy because I'm like really old. Like, damn, if I was in my 20s, I could have lived my life.
But you still can. Like, that's also a misnomer. Like, go live your life. Go be like, wow, men actually will want to be seen with me and want to, like, love up on me and do that. Because that is not my reality. Like, I was kind of like, of course you want to be seen with me. I mean, yeah. Why wouldn't you? Should I be embarrassed to be seen with you? I think it's probably more that, right? Now,
you also said something about traveling, like some nincompoop said something
yeah,
terrible.
and I know that this like is like something that I've talked to my sister about, and I know that she feels really badly about it. But one of her friends, when I was like 18, I really wanted to go to Spain to learn Spanish. Like, it was something that I really, really wanted to do, and I had gotten accepted into the program, and like was really like applying for visas at that point, like to the point where it was like happening. And my sister had a conversation with her friend who, I'm sure out of compassion in her mind, was like, hey, she probably shouldn't go. Like, nobody in Spain is bigger, and she's going to feel really uncomfortable there. And my sister tried to convey that message to me. And so, I mean, she did convey that message to me. And so I didn't go. And while it's like a regret of mine, I also know that there was obviously something that there was a reason why I didn't go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who knows who I would have met? I may never have met Peter, who's my husband now. I mean, who knows? Like, that could have been a whole other thing. But I do regret, like, listening to that fear of
like
somebody
believing
else.
it.
Yeah.
Like believing that
I would be uncomfortable eating in front of other people because I was bigger.
Yeah.
And mind you, I was like much smaller than I am now. So,
yeah.
like,
yeah. And the grief is real. I mean, it really is. And I think that we act like it's not happening. Like, that's part of this whole body positivity thing. It's like, you can't just put pink paint on it, right? Like, we can't just be like, everything's sunshine and flowers. Like, really fucked up shit for the last however many years of our lives, when this has happened to us, has been going on that we have to undo. And we can't act like it never happened.
No. I mean, I don't think that I'm acting like it didn't happen, but I just feel like,
I don't think you are
I feel like, I feel like now that I'm older, I can see that, okay, there's some other reason why I didn't go, and it protected me in some other way, and that's how I have to reconcile it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But I mean, acting like
But as an actor, that actually hurts me more, because I feel like, where would I be now if I had started when I was 14?
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? And if I just went, nope, I'm going to do like Kate Winslet did.
Yeah. And she was in England, and it was much easier to be big boned in England
Oh my
than
God.
here. I mean, it kills me too, the England thing, because she went to performing arts school,
Right?
Adele, and like literally, singing is my first love. It's my joy.
Right.
And
I mean, we've talked about this. You won't even listen to audiobooks because all you want to do is sing in the car. And it makes me mad. I'm like, read this book. I want you to hear it. I want you to hear it. The performance is really good.
And I like had to have my own cover band in order to like fulfill that need that was
Right.
never fulfilled, which kind of sucks. So now we want you guys to tell us what sucks.
No, tell us, use the hashtag, tell us what people said to you that you couldn't do. And at the very end, we're going to hopefully have some stories to share with you.
Yeah, we hope you go and share with us and be brave and let people know. I don't think people know how much of your life is affected by this.
Right.
My mom even wrote a comment that was
but
like,
we'll cover
we'll
that
do
in
it
the end.
later?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
we'll do
we
that
gotta
later.
go. We gotta go to our segment
to
too.
our segment. We're
Sorry,
on a time schedule.
we're on a time
We're on a
schedule.
timer.
Kathy Douch.
So here's our clip with Felicia Fasano and Dana Sims. Enjoy.
Hi guys, we're back with Plus This. I'm Kathy Deach.
And I am Eva Tingley.
And we are so thrilled to be on our first location.
On location at Melissa Masse's boutique in West Hollywood.
Is it West Hollywood?
Is it Mid-City?
I don't know. I think it's
We're in
West
LA,
Hollywood.
so we're super
We're in
cool.
LA, guys. By the way, could this be cuter? I'm
I
sorry.
don't know. Mine's a little cuter.
It's my color.
It is your color.
And that's your color. She nailed us.
She nailed us. She totally nailed us. Got
Hardcore.
her like New York and
Boom.
me LA style
Yeah.
for 100%.
Yeah, it's really East Coast, West Coast. In the house. Yes. So not only do we have an amazing location, but we also have like kind of all-star guests right now, right?
Not even kind of.
Absolutely.
Like huge guests that we're so excited to share with you guys right now.
And one has to like run off to a screening, so we got to pull it together.
Yeah, we gotta be real quick.
Okay. First of all, I want to introduce my friend because she's
She's your friend.
That's not true. I have a brilliant friend. She's been casting for 25 years. She's won 9 casting awards, the RDOs. Is that how you pronounce it?
I think
You always
RDOs,
did
yeah.
like that.
I don't know.
And
Nominated for 9?
Nominated
Whether either
for
one,
9.
like just
That's okay.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
13
yeah,
now.
13.
She didn't give us an updated
I
bio,
mean,
but
just-
whatever.
just really good at her job. So
Exactly.
You know.
And you have probably watched her shows because they're insanely popular. Californication. She was on the Mindy Project. Right now, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which we are living our lives
Yes.
for, which is not only critical acclaim, but like everyone I know watches it. I mean, maybe because I'm a musical theater nerd, but
Yeah.
whatever. Also, Better Things, which someone was on
Someone fancy.
last week.
I mean, do you know
when I
her?
was on TV last week.
Or 4 months ago.
Right,
whatever.
whenever we show this to you. But I don't know, it's episode 8. You can go watch it. Which, by the way, is every one of my friends on my timeline's favorite show. And
I mean, it's really,
the
really
casting
great.
director today is here, Felicia Fasano.
Yay!
Amazing. And because that's not enough.
I know, that's not enough. She brought her amazingly talented friend, Dana Sims, who is an agent who reps Cyndi Lauper. Maybe you've heard of her.
Yeah, just a couple of names.
Maybe you've heard of Jeezy. Maybe you've heard of Kendrick Lamar. She just reps a few of those people. And she is here with us today.
Yes, Dana Sims, everyone. Yes. Dana, and you do charity work. You work with a charity.
Yes, I'm on the board of My Friend's Place,
Yes.
which is an organization that provides goods and services to homeless teens.
That's
amazing.
incredible. It's so
I've actually held events here like 3 times.
at the space.
Yes, like having shopping nights with girlfriends, and the proceeds go to My Friend's Place.
That's unbelievable.
Can we go next time?
Yes,
'Cause
absolutely.
We'll spend money for homeless
Right.
kids. For
Yeah.
homeless kids, I'll spend money. I'll buy one of these dresses for homeless kids. That's incredible, and I literally just came from having a great conversation about like the props that are coming up and like trying to solve the homeless problem because it is one here. So
It
Yeah.
is.
that's tremendous.
A lot of kids come from all over to be in Hollywood and realize it's more than just a dream and get in wrong situations or bad situations. Or some kids just age out of the foster care system. 18, it's your birthday, you gotta go. So
Which is
they don't
so
necess-
sad.
It's so sad. So My Friend's Place is a great organization. Tries to get kids in homes. Tries to get kids education so they can have a life. Tries to get them counseling because they've sometimes come from abusive places. So it's really something to sink your teeth into and help.
Amazing.
Well, good for you.
Thank
I'm so
you.
glad that you're involved in that and
Yeah.
helping out kids in
Yeah.
LA.
And we'll totally
That's
put
great.
that on our website. We'll totally plug that.
Oh, great.
So
Thank you.
You'll see it on our stuff.
Thank you.
And Felicia, so Better Things is like this runaway hit. It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it's kind of, I'm not surprising, but
She's a genius.
yes, Pamela Adlon is genius and my friend for many years. So it's like working with your family, which is the greatest thing ever. She's the writer, creator, star, director of the entire show, and her and Louis C.K. And it's based on her life as a single mother of 3. Luckily, knowing her family, it was very easy for me to cast it because I know everyone in her family.
I've met her
So it was
daughters,
just-
and
yes.
literally, like, the nailing it is not even, it's uncanny.
Yeah, and her
It's
mother
really-
too, which was
Her
really
no,
amazing.
the mother, which I've had like Passover with, guys, like literally like deja vu every time I see an episode with her. It's chilling.
Well, it was
It's
really
amazing.
interesting casting Celia Emery in that part when the show first got picked up, and she said, "We got to cast my mother, and she's got to be British. She's got, we should get Helen Mirren to do it." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure, let's ask Helen Mirren to do it."
I like her impersonation.
Oh God, no, you don't
Very
get
spot
that.
on.
Don't get that. I'll do it like this.
It is
So,
a good impression.
I don't have
It's
the
really
watch on. But we had like long discussions and we worked on lists, and in my brain the first person I thought of was Celia Emery, who I was a giant fan of hers from, of course, Bridget Jones, but Calendar Girls. And if you remember in Calendar Girls, she
I saw
just
that on
was this,
Christmas
and knowing her mom and like the physicality of her, and we did, talk to other people, but I just kept saying, and Celia, and I said, look, these other women were sort of blonde-haired, blue-eyed, like Gemma, who plays Bridget Jones' mother, and Helen Mirren, and those people. And I said, it's hard enough people to actually believe that your mother's British, which she is, but, throw in that mix, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed one, the whole series, everyone's going to be like, so when do we find out you're adopted?
Right.
But
Great
it was a
choice,
great,
though.
and we work really closely together on every aspect of it. So it's still a great experience, and I'm so proud of her.
When did you find out that you were good at casting? Like, how did that come about?
God. Am I? I don't know.
I mean, obviously,
it's
you
really-
have
it's
how
literally
many
something-
awards on about it? I mean, you are.
Yeah, but it's such an odd job that I think people who think they want to do it don't know what it is. And I think the people who end up being really good at it fall into it from different places as actors or agents, managers, or I was an actor as a kid, and I came from sort of a production art department background. So I had all of these skills, which were sort of, I could be a coordinator, but I also was an actor as a kid and had like that skill also helped me.
Yeah, it's fun reading.
And also
with you.
working with.
You're a good reader.
Oh, thank you.
You are.
Yeah, I think
Gotcha.
I'm thinking when I'm like 65, retired, I might go on the. Actually, I'm in Better
Go on the
Things.
other side of the table?
I'm in Better Things.
Oh,
In the
really?
pilot. Yeah, I played the casting director.
Oh, that's
Which is
nice.
not my first time. I also played the casting director of Californication.
Oh.
So I have
my
been
gosh,
on
that's right.
Smell you.
Yeah.
IMDb.
So any other Dana may be representing me. So any
I
it's very
so
easy. Just call her to find me. It's very easy.
That would make
But
sense.
yeah, like I mean, it's a very, you have to really have worked for somebody. I was very lucky to have Jackie Birch, who was one of the most brilliant. I mean, she did all the John Hughes films, and I was very lucky when I moved here very young from New York at like 24 to fall into her lap, and she trained me, and she was a director. I mean, she worked with actors. I remember her working with like Alan Rickman and teaching him how to hold a gun for the scene, and I mean, she was really physical and got in there with actors. And the first job I worked on with her was Another 48 Hours, and they just threw me in, and I had me reading with actors. Like, I'll never forget it with Tisha Campbell, who was the first audition I did, and I'm the reader. I have no idea. And I did my best Eddie Murphy imitation.
I love it. Can you give it to us now? Can you give it to us now?
I wish I could remember. I'm sure. I can't. But it was, and I look up, and Walter Hill, the director, and Jackie, they're rolling on the floor, but they thought I was kind of brilliant. And they were like, we might have to cast you as Eddie. So it was just one of those things,
funny.
but it's one of those really hard, stressful jobs, and has evolved over the years. Than when I started, it was a very different kind of job. So, I mean, I hope we get really talented people to want to be casting directors because it's a really integral part of the process of film and television.
Just think about how technology has affected the casting business.
1,000%.
I was an assistant first, and getting pictures and bios and resume and press, like you had to have it physically delivered.
I used to have to do delivery.
Yeah,
I used to deliver script. Literally the first day working for Jackie Birch was I had to drive a script to Bernie Casey's house.
Wow.
For another 48 hours, and it was like that, and also bringing after that was. There was just having
actually physically putting the sides together and faxing the sides.
Wow.
Technology has really made our jobs a teeny bit easier.
For sure.
And a lot harder.
And a lot harder.
Because it's global now. I mean, which is wonderful, but anybody can put their self on tape all over the world, which opens it up so much, but it also makes it like we can't sleep. Like we have to watch, every
30 tapes.
Every single person looking for you. And I've got them coming in on a pilot from Australia to London to Canada, wherever they are.
Whoever speaks English.
Yeah.
And Dana, you're you guys probably work very closely together.
Absolutely.
How did you get as an agent? How did you get involved in being an agent?
I started out as an assistant. I wanted to make movies. And
because you went to USC,
I went to USC.
They have a great film school, but you were not in
I was not in the film school. I was a communication major. I actually wanted to be an actress. And my parents let me apply to all these colleges for acting. And then when I finally got in, they were like, yeah, we're not going to let you do that. You need a job where you need a career where you can get a job, and we don't know if you'll ever get a job as an actress. So, I was disappointed, but I'm actually quite grateful because I cry sometimes when my clients don't get jobs.
Oh,
and I can still pay my mortgage.
Right,
so, I don't know how it would be that way. But what I realize about being an agent is that I'm really an advocate for my clients, and I love seeing them succeed. I especially love seeing them do things that they never thought possible or live beyond their wildest dreams.
That's amazing.
Dana Sims and her
Felicia
gorgeous
Fasano.
face. And Felicia.
I mean, Felicia's so funny. I love her
She
so
is
much.
so and they're both a little posh. Like they're both have really great taste in food.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we were a little intimidated by their knowledge.
I have to tell you that if you don't follow Dana Sims on Pinterest, you don't know what gourmet food is. Sometimes her boards come up for me, and I'm just like, yes, are you making this? I'm coming over.
And Felicia's Instagram is also from all stuff she cooks herself. She's a brilliant cook.
I know. She made her own Bloody Mary from tomatoes from her garden yesterday. Just saying.
Yeah, just not that we stalk them or anything.
I'm not stalking. I follow her.
I love it. I love it. And Dana's also like an amazing human on top of it. MyFriendsPlace.org, guys. MyFriendsPlace.org. No apostrophe, like friends, like plural. Please see if you want to get involved with them. She's really, really passionate about it. We love her for that. And it's just nice to see someone not totally consumed only by the business without having that extra mile.
Yeah, and you can see right now their website. That's what it looks like, so that you can check it out and donate money if you want.
Or time.
Yeah.
And we're going to show you part 2 of that interview.
Here we go.
Thanks.
We wanted to ask you about that because one of the articles that we read this week was about there's a lot of pressure on agencies and casting directors to make things diverse and to reflect what America
really
actually
looks like. Yeah.
And we were wondering your feelings about that. And, the article brought up about how finding a Latin guy in his 40s is really hard because they're all working. I kind of was like, I got names, but you know what I mean? But,
Me too.
but I also wanted to, exactly. I also wanted to know how you felt about women of a certain size. 67% of women are size 14 and above. And do you feel responsibility in that way to represent America in that way, too?
I've represented a woman that was plus size, and I put her into a major television series. And, I think it celebrates people where they are. And I feel like even though that series didn't last very long, I thought it was genuine and authentic, and when she was in character, size didn't matter at all. And I think, as we do our jobs in this industry, as crazy as it is, size really doesn't matter. I think, it's yeah.
We were waiting for somebody to come up with that joke.
But I feel like, I also feel like sometimes creators just have a look in their mind that they can't detach from.
And I was wondering, like, how much do you fight against that as a cast member?
Oh my God! Want to see my battle scars?
Seriously, same
Let's
with
get
me.
naked in the dressing room. I'll show you my scars. But
That'll
I mean,
be
there's
later. That's at the
there's
after party.
Like we're talking about, like better things. Pamela does not want anybody who looks like they're on TV. So she embraces that, and you'll see the women who play her best friends are all of a certain age. They're all shapes and sizes and colors. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Aline Brush McKenna, our freighter, is just like all about, this show takes place in West Covina. What does West Covina look like?
Really?
It doesn't look like the typical CW show.
No, not
Right.
at all.
But then occasionally you have to work on things that are a battle, where there are people who don't have that worldview. Maybe it's just women that are open to that. I don't know. I'm thinking now.
I mean, well, that's one of the
but I
things
mean,
I wanna
really,
ask
it's
you.
we can present it, we can have the conversations, but at the end of the day, and show them like the options. But at the end of the day, they do make the decision. They wrote it. It's their vision, and you know, I know the networks and studios are super behind, you know, opening up everything to everything, and we're doing
Finally.
everything we can. But I've had to fight, and I've lost those battles, and just said, well, you know what? At some point, you're gonna wish you had,
Right.
you know.
And well, that's another thing. Do you watch TV? Are you excited about what things are happening? You know, we've talked about This Is Us and American Housewife as being sort of like, we're like so grateful. They're series regulars who are plus size women, but also their entire storyline seems to be wrapped around
Their
them
weight.
being
That's the
fat
only
and not
thing.
being happy about it. I mean,
Or you could say, you know, Tuesday night's Fat Night. I mean, I watched in a
It's
row.
Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesday.
That's it. I was like, what's the best way?
It's Fat Tuesday.
And as much as I like embracing seeing people I can identify with, if they can just stop calling themselves fat and using that as the only thing to identify with them as, or the only thing that's interesting about them,
right.
that's a hard thing to watch. I mean, I literally had a night where I watched, you know, American High School, and I love Katie and the whole cast, and then This Is Us, and Chrissy is amazing, but one after the other was like, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what else?
And that's a real thing that happens in the world. Like, there are people who are paralyzed by their weight. You
Sure.
know, I would like to see someone have the journey of growing out of that, and how if those characters both grow into body acceptance and like body positivity and are like living their lives and having all the sex they want, like that would be hot. You know what I mean? But if that's what it ends up becoming, and I know that at the beginning of seasons you have to kind of, refresh,
Ease into
ease into it. Yeah, but I do. Gets frustrating for me too.
But I feel like with the Chrissy's character on This Is Us, she's 36 years old. At some point, you kind of go, okay, this is my body, and I'm going to live my life, right? Or is it just...
I feel like she was doing that. And then I mean, at least from the pilot that she went
to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Like, oh my
know. Like, I love, we should get her on here and talk to her about it.
I mean, I would
Yeah.
love, we
With
would
the
love to
creators
get her
of
We
on.
would love
sure.
to have you, Chris.
Yeah, Chrissy, come on our
She's
show
the
and
best
talk
girl
to us.
ever.
Yes, we totally want to have her. So, another thing that was happening this week, there was an article in Huffington Post about people clocking women's food and how they eat. And I was just wondering.
We'll get to you in a second.
This is like a real. I mean, I have a thing about. Like, I've written about it. Like, why do we have to spend 25 minutes before we order talking about the bad or good choices we made all day, the calorie counting, the steps we got in? It's exhausting me, and I feel like women aren't changing the world because we're spending all our time on that conversation. Do you guys feel like when you're in, listen, LA's meetings, right? It's like, let's go have lunch, let's talk about it. We're always eating over making business, and I was wondering, do you guys struggle with going out? Do you feel people like watching you eat?
You know, for me, I don't think I worry about that. It depends. I'll eat if I'm hungry. I won't eat if I'm not hungry. It is hard when you're with a client and they are eating steamed vegetables with dressing on the side to like be like, I'll have the steak, only because you're sympathetic
You're
to
trying to be
someone
supportive.
who's trying to maintain a certain weight to be on camera.
Right.
You know, I do have the luxury because I am not on camera not to have to adhere to that.
And you're living your life.
And I'm living my life.
Yeah.
But, like, I identify with the struggle involved with it because when I try to lose a few pounds, like, anyone eating a steak in front of me is, like, gonna get daggers. I just, it's just, I don't know. Like, my job, I think, is to be professional, to be clean and polished, and I'm a background person. I can support someone on their journey if they have to have a certain body type for the camera, but if that's not their journey, I'm not going to be like, sweetheart, you shouldn't be eating that. That's not for me to judge.
I mean, I gotta tell you, I give 0 fucks what people think about what I'm eating. Like 0. Because it's my body, it's my life, I'm enjoying it. If you don't like what I'm eating, don't order it. Don't order it. I don't care. If someone said something, I mean, that's never happened to me. Thank God no one has ever said to me like, oh, sweetie, you shouldn't eat that. Because I'd be like, who the fuck are you? And why are you telling me what to eat? Because it's none of their business. And I can't even imagine going up to someone and like telling them what they should or shouldn't do.
Well, I think that there's a whole miscommunication there. Like, personally, I'm the healthiest eater of all of my friends. Every body type. I cook better than any of them. I eat better than any of them, healthier than any of them. So I don't understand that concept. Like, I'm going to eat when I go out, I'm not like, oh, I'm ordering this because I don't want people to know. I'm not like binging back in the corner.
Right. You actually have a great Instagram where
I do. But I mean, and Dana also, she's a brilliant chef.
Oh,
I mean, we
genius.
We need a cooking night.
We take care of our food in a way. We take care of ourselves in a way that maybe people don't understand that. It's not like we're like, I mean, the skinniest people I know are the ones who eat terrible. The cupcakes come into my office 4 times a week. I'm not interested. Maybe every once in a while. I'm like, I'm not a sweet person. Right. So I'm just like, that's not my thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, bring me in a beautiful bottle of wine and a gorgeous piece of salmon, and I'm going to make that, like, my day.
You hear that, actors? When Felicia casts salmon, wine, you're
lobster.
Lobster.
Yeah.
Love that. There you go.
So I don't when I did read that, and I could not identify with that because I was like, that is just a different element than I know.
Yeah.
And maybe that's also being like, we're professional women, that we are of a certain economic way that we cook, and we don't like run into a fast food place and eat and binge and hide French fries.
And you're incredibly like self-possessed, which I thought that woman in the article was too, and like people had an issue with it. But you're both like totally and completely self-possessed in a way that maybe that's just not, people wouldn't even dare.
Even stand it.
But how about red carpet looks? I mean, is that something that you guys, the struggle is real? Or?
When I was a new agent, I was working with the stylist because where I worked before where I was now, they were very conscious about those kinds of things. And I had to go to a lot of award shows and a lot of events. And so the stylist took me to meet Melissa to do some award show clothing. And like everything fit and it looked good. And clothes that make you look good make you look thinner than you actually are. And unfortunately, I'm no longer with the stylist. I would just come back to Melissa, and I've been wearing her clothes since 2001. Award shows, premieres, like special things that I want to do. She even did my wedding dress this July.
Oh my God. Well, congratulations.
I mean, which is amazing because I hated wedding shopping. Like, that was like a nightmare for me. I'm not kidding. Okay, so I didn't have like a fancy budget. I think I had like $800. And so I went to David's Bridal, and their catalog, I'm not kidding, was this thick, and this amount was for plus size. And when I saw it, I literally sat in the dressing room and like cried and cried and cried because I had no options. And so I'm so glad that that was not your experience and how magical that must have been for you.
Oh, yeah. It was like something, I mean, obviously I've known her for over 16 years. So it was easy to come in here and say, I want this, I want this. It's going to be hot. Like, not to say I'm not a problem because I am. I've cried on the floor here. But honestly, for me, my Massey has been one-stop shopping. Like if she sold shoes and bras and panties,
you'd go nowhere.
You would literally go nowhere.
I would never go anywhere else because it's just easy for me. But sometimes Melissa's nice to me and she'll take me shoe shopping.
Oh,
because I can't do it by myself.
No, you need it. You need her to be like, oh, that dress that'll go with this.
Yeah,
amazing,
absolutely.
For sure.
What a good friend.
How about you?
Well, I don't go to so many like red carpet events. I mean, I just don't. It's not in the nature of my job, and which is great because I'm kind of a hippie. If I don't have to shave my legs, I'm super happy about it. But this past Emmy award time, I did get invited to something, and I didn't go because I was like, I have nothing to wear.
Which is
and I told Melissa that, who hopefully we'll see her soon up here. She's sitting there looking so cute. And she and I both kind of cried. And she was like, why didn't you come here and tell me that? Like, I would have, like, we could have found, and I was like, oh my God, that was, like, why did that stop me? And I think that's one of the first times that I did feel like I'd stopped myself. There was also, like, other stuff going on for me, clearly. It wasn't just, I don't have something to wear. Because I think it's really connected, yes, sometimes just the clothes make you feel better, that push you out the door to do things you normally wouldn't do.
Absolutely.
So whatever it was holding me back in that moment of I didn't want to go, and also I was like, I didn't have anything to wear. It was like a whole complicated therapy session that I'm still working on because it really did hit me like I missed an opportunity, whatever would have been. And that's the first time that I remember doing that because I've been nominated for a couple of Emmys and I did get a dress. And one year I loved it and one year I hated how I looked. And it really does, like, I don't even want to look at those pictures of the year that I hated how I looked.
Right.
The dress I bought online, I bought like 10 dresses from Nordstrom online.
Tina's like,
no, she's mad. She's mad about it.
Them all. And I was like, well, I got to wear something. And the year that I wore the one I loved, it was like a great entire Emmy experience.
It's a great thing to feel confident in what you're wearing that captures all the best parts of you. Yeah. And especially in this is our work environment. It may look like a party, it's not your party.
No, it's a networking event.
Absolutely. So to be confident in what you're wearing, and poised and polished. And
and that just shows like you show up
and
better
as you're a representative of your client. And so not only are you representing your client, you're representing your agency where you work. It's really important to have that air of confidence. That you're, listen, I'm good at my job no matter how I look. But, unfortunately, we work in a perception business. Mm-hmm. So I have to be on point in terms of the way that I look.
But that's self-worth everywhere, though.
Absolutely.
I think part of that first Emmy where I didn't like how I looked or what I wore, I also felt like I didn't deserve it. It came up in a way, and it was like, I kept getting this weird feedback, kind of like, oh. But then the second year, like, and I'm for the same show, it was like, wait, I do deserve this? So I really did make the choice to really feel good about myself. Like, that was all connected to how I looked.
Wow.
And
that's like some amazing growth to happen in just like a span of a year.
Yeah.
So
and then I went backwards.
But now you know Melissa Masse, and you're gonna wear amazing clothes everywhere you go now.
Melissa, and
no excuses now.
She's not just your clothing designer; she's your therapist,
right?
Which I think we all want to be some. We're gonna go and talk to her, and you have to get your screening. It's this Christmas.
Yes,
that you have.
I have Carrie Hilson in there.
Amazing.
Yay!
So go watch that, guys. Go out and see that movie.
Yes.
And we just can't thank you enough for being here with us, guys, taking time out of your day.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate and love you. And say it again, your name of your charity and
My Friend's Place. It's myfriendsplace.org.
Okay,
myfriendsplace.org.
And Felicia, you want to tell people where they can find you, or you want to hide?
Melissa Masse store.
Just come to Melissa Masse store. She'll be here at some point.
Yes.
Amazing. We're talking to Melissa when we come back right after Plus This thing.
That was such a fun day.
Oh my gosh, that was the best.
It was so fun, reliving that. And thank you all for commenting during it. What's kind of weird is that because that's taped, we actually can interact with you really seamlessly.
Right. So it's been kind of fun for us to be able to interact with you and hear your stories. And thank you so much. But we want to tell you what's been going on. Because
that was done last year.
In November.
Yeah.
It was November 3rd, guys.
Oh,
it was before the whole world ended.
Shifted. No hopelessness.
Oh my God.
But one of those things that happened was that Felicia won.
She won the Artios
the
Award.
Artios Award for Crazy Ex-Girlfriend for the pilot. Yes,
so
we have
the
them on
picture
the
that we
red
showed,
carpet,
you're looking at it right now. The picture, she won with Bernard Telsey, Tim Payne, Tara Nostromo, Conrad Wolf, and Abby Brady Dalton.
Abby Brady Dalton, who has had a baby in the meantime. Hi, Abby. I don't know if you're watching. She's an awesome chick. I know her from New York, and whenever she comes to LA and does casting here, I try to be her reader because it's just fun spending time with her. But yeah, I mean, those two ladies, like, making it happen. I loved everything they said about women being in charge, and we certainly have felt that energy, like when it is a woman who is the executive producer or head writer or DP,
it's just like a different experience for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a different experience, and there's so much happening. I mean, Glow, I can't wait to watch. I mean, there's so many amazing female-run shows right now that I'm all about and have to catch up on Netflix and Amazon and all the good stuff.
All the things. We have to watch all the TV. Guys, we're not lazy. We're doing research.
It's for our careers.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of research, Kathy and I are going to Canada Day today at the Comedy Store, and we are going to do some comedy research. There's a big guy who is a comedian. Sorry, comedy. I was going to say comedy guy. He's a comedy guy. He's a comedian. His name is Angelo Sarukis, and we're going to go, and I personally am vowing to count how many fat jokes are told.
Yeah, we're gonna have to hold a clicker,
I'm gonna
like
hold
the umpires.
Like how many times? Click, 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 click. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
it's tonight. We're gonna
come to the Comedy Store and hang out with us if you're in LA.
Oh my God! It starts at 8. We're gonna kill it.
Yeah, we're looking cute.
We're gonna
take
pictures with us.
Come and take pictures with us
because we're Instagram influencers, guys.
Let's make this comedy show about us instead of about your friend Angela.
It's about. But speaking of Canada Day, I want to say happy birthday to Peter's cousin Tina, who's a huge supporter of ours.
Oh, I love that.
So happy birthday,
Tina. That's so
nice.
And also, we wanted to follow up on some things that people have been saying.
Yes, with the hashtag.
If you missed the first segment, because I know we both shared it on our page, so you might have missed the first segment, but we were telling stories about when people said, like, fat girls can't do that or fat people can't do that. So we started a hashtag called I'm Fat, and they said no. And please continue it going on our Facebook page and on our Twitter. But we have a couple. My mom, as we were going to say earlier, literally did not get an office job because they said she was too fat.
Right.
Yeah.
At like a major company.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Which is crazy. The one that made me really mad was the one that your sister said. And she said that someone told her that she shouldn't breastfeed because she'd smother her baby with her giant boobs. Or that she shouldn't have had kids at all because overweight pregnancies are high risk. I mean, that's just it. This is just a deep sigh.
Guys, we're just healing together. We're just healing together and laughing at the ridiculousness together. Also, my sister-in-law is an amazing PhD in psychology. Someone in her program was told that she could never be a health counselor or health therapist because of her weight. And they told her she couldn't do it, which is crazy.
I remember there was somebody at the gym once. There's a Zumba instructor who's kind of like a chub, and I love it. Like, she kills it. Like, you go to her class and she is killing it. Like, dancing, doing all the moves, and somebody was like, "Oh, she's the instructor?" I was like, "Yeah, you just watch. She's gonna kill you. You're gonna be sweating. Did you watch."
Snap a neck? I would have snapped somebody's neck.
You know me. I don't snap necks. I'm not from Philly. I'm from Santa Clarita Valley, where you sweep things under the rug.
You stuff your feelings down.
You just eat an In-N-Out cheeseburger and just be like, yeah.
That's nice. Well, I remember back when I did Footloose on Broadway for the first time. There were a lot of dancers of all different shapes. They all were kind of short, though. Maybe like one or two were a little bit taller. But I remember my friend Joanna Ross telling me about how she was obsessed with this one girl. And then when I met that girl, and she was like, by the way, not plus size at all, but in the dancer world, like a size 8 or 10 is like a big
you're
girl.
huge.
And I got to see her in class, and I was literally like, you're the most mesmerizing person I've ever seen. And I also want her to be in everything. And that's the whole thing. It's like, when is our art going to really reflect what society is? Like, why are we not allowing women to take up space? Why can't we take part in things? This is the world, so why shouldn't art reflect that? And
why are we telling people? Whoa, I'm just like eating this. Why are we telling people that they can't do something because of their weight? Why are we not just saying it might be hard, but do it?
Yeah,
go for it.
So
you might have these struggles, but do it anyway.
Well, maybe that's the next hashtag is hashtag I'm fat and did it anyway.
Yeah, that's the next hashtag.
Yeah. So what?
I can't make a meme fast enough.
But we'll do it.
Yes.
We'll do it. So the next one is I'm fat and did it anyway. So tell us when someone said you can't, but you said, I will. I
but
can
watch
and
this.
Will.
Done.
Exactly. Do we have any other stories that we need to?
I don't see. I love that your brother is just talking about finding an appropriate neck size is nearly impossible for dress shirts.
And he's like, I know that for guys it's much easier.
Yeah. But I think that's it. You guys, can you believe that our show is like already over?
I know. It's bananas. I want to also apologize for saying I mean so many times last week. If you haven't watched last week's
my gosh,
episode,
you are so hilarious.
You should do shots.
You'll
get wasted.
Judging herself.
I was totally.
Maybe I should do an edit of just you saying it.
Oh no!
Just like Kathy says, I mean, and that's it. That's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna edit that together. I mean.
Oh my God, it sounds like my worst nightmare.
Oh
so
my God,
she's gonna do it.
I'm gonna do
my
it.
Worst nightmare.
It's happening.
Thank you to Jarvis for being here for us.
Who, by the way, is not like a fake, like. Thing. We're not an Iron Man. He's actually a real human being who sits here and laughs with us and cries with us and does all the things with us, and we are very grateful to him.
Yes, all by switching cameras and putting up media, which is amazing.
Yes, we're not like saying, Jarvis, put this up, and it's like Tony
and
Stark.
We're in talks. We're in talks with a really great guest for next week. So we're crossing
all the things.
Crossing all the things. And she said she was going to try to get back to us by the time we'll see the show today. But
so keep an eye on our Instagram and our Twitter and our Facebook, because we're gonna, once we're confirmed, we're gonna announce it.
Totally. And at plus this show everywhere. So you can be wherever you can find us wherever. Yeah,
on all the social medias.
On all the social medias. I actually would love to check Twitter. Before
when we look up for the I'm fat and they said no.
Yes. Let's see. Guys, it takes a minute.
It's mostly our stories.
I know.
And can you believe that I'm watching live while we're talking live, so that I can see what you guys are saying.
I know.
And I love it. So there's 2 hashtags that we're doing. Yes. I'm fat and they told me no. And they said no. I'm fat and they said no. Tell us your stories. We'll retweet them. And then what was the new one that we just said?
We said hashtag
I'm fat and I did it anyway.
And I did it anyway. Yeah.
I love it.
I love it too. You were talking about how an older man said to you once.
Oh my God. He was so kind. He was like, hey, let me pull you aside over here, young chub. And let me tell you that you have a really pretty face, but unless you lose weight, you're never going to lure a man in your direction. And I was like, okay, I think I'm pretty great, so.
And literally, Peter tripped into her life. Was so taken by her beautiful
Tripped
aura.
over a tree root.
Tripped over
Tripped over a tree root.
Tripped over a tree root. So that's another day.
That's a whole other story and for a whole other day.
But
Kathy wants to make a movie about it.
We're going to make I'm fat, and I said...
and I said I did it anyway. That's my story. They said I couldn't find a man that was hot to marry me, and I'm fat, and I did it anyway.
Ding! Perfect ending to a perfect show. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We'll be back next week, same time, 6 p.m. at Plus This. this?